Welcome to the West Coast, land of the best smoke. The valley, the bay, and of course Humboldt. We only combo, top of the line. Get the blunt ready, cross the grapes like wine. We are Modesto, this the West Coast. Now you know 209's the code. We are Modesto, this the West Coast. Everybody know that we got the best smoke. We are Modesto, this the West Coast. Now you know 209's the code. We are Modesto, this the West Coast. Everybody know that we got the best smoke.
All right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for your weekly MMA podcast called Split Decision, brought to you from the Ruloff Family Inc. studios, and of course, broadcast to you on Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio, anywhere you can find MMA podcasts, and of course, you can find us online at splitdecisionmma.com. Our Facebook is Split Decision MMA Podcast. Give us a like and find us on Instagram and Twitter at SD_MMA. Big thanks to Real One for letting us use that intro once again, because, you know, we are the 209, we are Modesto. Thanks, Nick Diaz, for putting 209 on the map.
Exactly.
Make it worth rapping about.
Where would we be without you, Nick?
Who knows? A lot less high.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Real One's brand new album called Flight 420, surprise, is out and available now. You can check him out at real1209.com. The one is spelled out, so it's REALONE 209.com. And also, is it Instagram or Twitter? Instagram, right? Instagram, same thing, at real1209.com. Strongboardbalance.com, still on board, taking care of us, so make sure you check them out. Check out their Instagram, try to win yourself a brand new strongboard, change the way you work out, get on board, strongboardbalance.com.
Our board's going to...
Me, I'm using it this month.
This month, you going to Bad to the Bones, or?
Come to visit me in the hospital.
Which gym are you taking it to, Gene?
I'm taking it home for a while. We got to figure it out.
I don't know.
It's going to be a Bad to the Bones. We're going to be working with it. I got Rodney going to be down there. We'll have him, our pro boxer, and have the heavyweight in there. We'll have some of the kickboxers try it out. I'll have some of the MMA guys try it out.
Hopefully they actually get video, unlike the guy let you use it for a month.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you send that to us, Gene.
Yeah, just send us some pictures, some video.
Strongboardbalance.com once again. And, of course, mymmanews.com, our second home and your place for breaking news stories, because, obviously, we only give it to you once a week. Have you seen anything?
Yeah, like they gave us this story. He's the one that sent it to me on my way home.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's not mixed martial arts, but still important to the sport. This just happened today. We had a shootout at a boxing weigh-in in Dublin.
Insane.
Kind of don't know why or what the hell happened, but there is a dead man, very unfortunately, and also 2 injured as of right now. Reports coming in. Don't know why, though. It's a developing story, and that's literally all it says in the headline.
Right.
Where the fuck is the
People
article?
pissed off at the weigh-ins. It's crazy when they start shooting.
Is there no? There's no article.
Yeah, there's
Oh, wait, there it is.
Said like Oakland, but Ireland.
Ireland, Oakland, similar, right? Aren't they kind of the same? So yeah, basically. It happened at the Regency Hotel. The victim is David Byrne, and it happened at a boxing weigh-in attack. It occurred around 2:20 p.m. today. I'm assuming
Ireland time.
Yeah. One of the men in his 30s who was shot was a guy David Byrne. I'm just learning this right now because it just happened.
Yeah, we're just reading this.
Full investigation team is in place involving local and National Guard units, and I don't think they have a suspect or anything.
I don't know. We're just letting you...
We got somebody in custody here, yeah.
Yeah.
That guy's in custody
there.
if you look it up online, they have somebody.
They do have somebody in custody. That's pretty much over the story because it's still breaking. So very unfortunate. No reason for shootouts at weigh-ins. It doesn't even make any sense.
And now we go from shootouts to cop-outs.
Is that like a betting issue? It's a betting issue or something? I mean, what the hell do you think it would be? Speculation. All right, so yeah, speaking of cop-outs, I hate this, man. This really pisses me off. Sage Northcutt, which we'll get to his loss when we recap last week. Dude lost.
Out and out.
Yeah, he got arm triangle choked and went medias.
He got bear hugged and tapped out.
Basically,
from the bear hug.
I was surprised. As much as they were building that up, hey, here's our...
And
little up and comer.
Here we have, the excuse wagons pulling up.
Right. Well, first it started with him. I had a bad case of strep 24 hours before. And then now we got Daddy Dana. I should have never let him go.
I should have never let him do it. I mean, it is. That's 3 times in 4 months, and now he's saying that he had strep throat. There was other reports coming around that Dana White was confused about, and I haven't. This is secondhand information for me. Was confused about it and was saying that he was injured. His throat was injured, and then said it was strep throat.
His throat was injured.
Yeah. So I'm here. I heard like it's secondhand information. So if you find any of that out there, please send it our way because I'd like to know more about that. Because here's my problem with this: is Dana White has almost never said I should have pulled him from a fight, especially if you go back to the Miletich days. The Miletich days, Rich Franklin, Matt Hughes, and Tim Sylvia all tried to pull out of fights because there was a flu going around their camp. Tim Sylvia actually shit himself in the cage when that was going around.
Hey, even more recently, he didn't want Aldo to pull out. There's nothing wrong with your rib.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
He had an x-ray of the broken rib. There's nothing wrong with your rib. Fight.
Exactly.
But this guy's got strep throat. I don't know. I shouldn't have let him fight. Should have given him the chloroseptic.
So I don't really think that Dana is all of a sudden caring about the fighters. I think he's just more protected over certain investments like Sage Northcutt.
I want another Ferrari.
That's my opinion about it. I mean, and obviously all we do is opinion to it. It's what the show is.
Hey, but I wanted to backtrack too. Remember we found out last week after the show that whole rumor about the UFC hiring a wrestling coach, that was all bullshit.
Right, which sucks.
Yeah, the UFC did not hire a wrestling coach for McGregor. That was a rumor started by what's his name? Abdul, the manager that gets on Twitter and starts a bunch of bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Abdul Easy or whatever his name. But anyways, complete rumor. We're sorry we reported it. We need to check our sources a little better, but it was reported by a lot of people.
It was reported by a lot of people, and it was kind of late because it was debunked after we'd already done the podcast. Not much we could do about that.
Right.
So we do the best we can to find what we can about you guys.
Invoked an investigation.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Well, we're not the ones that are going to get sued. Sounds like somebody's actually getting sued over it.
Yeah.
Because they said
Because they said that, they said that the UFC got McGregor a wrestling coach, which, starts this.
Slanderous or something?
No, it's in print. It's libel according to Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
It could be defamation of character. It could be a lot of different things. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what they're getting it on, but yeah, you can sue for anything. I can sue you for your goatee being so goddamn long.
No.
So Sage Northcutt and Dana White now making excuses for Sage's loss because, of course, he was the poster child for that weight division, and he got his ass kicked by a guy who was replacing the fighter he was supposed to fight.
But like I told
to you, buddy, underdog came through.
Yeah.
But it was because he had strep.
It's because the guy's name was Barbarina, dude.
Right? You don't mess with a Vinny Barbarino.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's probably my cousin.
Don't do it, baby.
And once again, for the 7th time, the New York Senate goes to legalize MMA in New York. We all know which way this is going to go. The culinary union's going to stop it somehow. And then we're going to be back to square one again. They'll be voting on it for an 8th time.
Yeah?
Yeah, if for some reason it does get passed in New York,
Somebody will appeal it.
oh, it's going to get appealed immediately. Yeah, it would still be a long process before we actually had an event in Madison Square Garden.
It's already 49 state legal. Fuck New York,
Madison Square Garden, though, man.
I know.
Having a UFC at the Garden would be insane.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that if it was possible, Dana White would move everything around just to make sure he had UFC 2. What was it? What number were you on? 200 would be 200. UFC 200 at the Garden.
Well, I don't know. They all changed now. We're supposed to be on 196. I don't know if 196 is really coming.
Nobody does.
Nobody
When
does.
you get up to the 3-figure and UFC 2215.
I don't know.
God.
They just need to change it to the name of the events.
Right.
Like other places do. I prefer that, honestly. So we can cross our fingers. We can hope that we can finally get a UFC at the Garden. I'm not super optimistic about this because of the culinary union and they're
No, but it would be good, like you said. It would be very good.
But there's no sign of hope.
The only good, the only good thing about it, you look at it again, the way things are getting, it'd be good because we'd like to see it, the people like to see it. Sucks because then UFC is going to get what they want.
Right.
We'll see. I'm still doubtful. We had this guy. His name was Abdul Karim Edilov, who was supposed to fight back in January 17th in Boston. Guy was a monster. He was on a 10-fight win streak. All of them were within the first round.
He was a killer.
He had at least 4 wins within the first minute. Tore through ACB Fight Nights, N1 Global, and World Fighting Championship Akhmat. I don't know what that is. Basically, it was supposed to be the next big thing. Supposed to be just major. And he was scheduled to fight Francis Barroso at UFC Fight Night 81 on January 17th in Boston. However, looks like he's facing a potential anti-doping violation
Yep.
with an out-of-competition drug test,
I didn't inhale.
which makes you wonder, all 10 of his victories, all within the first round.
Quick.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here before we got a test.
Grab the money and run. Grab the
How's
money
that
and
name
run.
Russian? I don't get it. Abdul.
Abdul Karim Edilov.
Man.
You could be named Abdul and live in Russia, man.
And Kareem?
And Kareem. And live
I've
in Russia.
creamed a few times. It cost me money, though.
Major finger roll.
Wow. Speaking of other people possibly violating, we have Tim Means that says he was pulled from a main event bout after a potential USADA violation. However, Tim Means says that he did not violate. So he was supposed to be fighting on February 21st, which, this month is a couple weeks away. UFC pulled him, and now his argument, he says, I'm being accused of using the supplement that's supposed to have all these muscle-gaining abilities. It's supposed to help you out so much with lean muscle. Well, it left my muscle behind, and I just got the hot pee for it. He's
Then
really
you test
disappointed.
dirty with stuff you didn't even work, right? That's the worst.
That's the worst part. It's that Coke I got that one time.
I get mad.
It was Ajax. So Tim Means says he didn't violate, but he's still not on the February 21st card.
No,
Uh,
because they've, I don't know if we're going to cover it, but they've already rescheduled who Cerrone's fighting.
they rescheduled who Cerrone's fight. They did. Who was it again?
Cowboy.
Cowboys fighting Cowboy.
Yep.
Is it a Raphael Cowboy, isn't it?
I can't remember. What
Rodeo Fest.
Oh, okay. Donald Cerrone's fighting another Cowboy, though.
Interesting.
I want to look it up. I can't spell Donald.
Duck.
It's not Dos Anjos. It's not. Come on. It's news. There's got to be news on this. Not Melvin Gillard. Well, this is just lame.
Melvin Chain.
Alex Oliveira.
Is it Alex Oliveira?
Yeah, the Cowboy.
So Cowboy versus Cowboy is coming up for Donald Cerrone's replacement with Tim Means out. So that actually just happened today,
What is
too.
he, like
isn't
the Brazilian cowboy or something?
He's something.
He's a vaquero.
And a quiero?
A vaquero.
Toquiero?
Donald Cerrone's got the Texan cowboy hat, and then Alex has one of the white ones.
Sombrero.
He's got the white cowboy hat, right?
Right.
All right, Chris Carioso retires.
Who?
He fought in the UFC 13 times, twice in WEC. Age 34. He is calling it quits. He's been competing in MMA since 2006. And we've actually seen this guy fight a few times. He had a name that for a while you could throw around as a gatekeeper contender, and then he just kind of fell off. So I mean, hopefully he's still got a long life ahead of him.
Yep.
34, plenty of stuff he can do, whether or not he's instructing or whatever. He's got a couple kids. He says he wants to be there for. Don't want to miss soccer games and school performances anymore. I want to take my boys to the BMX track. I want to go camping, and I want to start living more for my family.
There you go.
And speaking of BMX, R.I.P.
Oh,
Dave
yeah.
Mira. That's a bummer.
Wow, Dave
Peace,
Mira.
buddy.
That's crazy.
41 years old.
Wow, and he killed himself. And
Yeah.
we found him in his truck. That was really sad.
Yeah,
Very sad.
definitely disappointing. That guy was competing in the S Games as recent as 2013, too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I had no idea. Yeah. BJ Penn guarantees that he's fighting at UFC 196. Which one's 196 now?
We don't know yet. Apparently in March 5th.
Apparently.
A fifth.
He fully expects that he'd make his return to the octagon on March 5th, and it probably won't be against Nick Lentz. The Hall of Famer, one of just two fighters to hold UFC titles in two weights, guarantees that he'll be fighting at UFC 196 on March 5th in Las Vegas. Ariel Helwani reported on Wednesday's edition of UFC Tonight. While there's no official opponent lined up, word has it that veteran Dennis Siver has emerged as a possible opponent for the former welterweight and lightweight champ. Why would Siver do this?
I don't know.
Didn't Siver retire?
No, Siver had to fight. He just fought McGregor and then somebody else
Yeah,
after
he
that.
got beat to shit by
Yeah.
McGregor. He thrashed him pretty good.
Wow.
He made it to the second
throw him
round.
ar- It's kind of like they throw him around, you know. And
So this would be a gimme fight for BJ, probably.
I don't know. Siver made it to the second round with McGregor.
Yeah. I just don't even know how BJ would return, what kind of shape he would be in. This is a
Nobody
guy-
knows.
he's either on or he's off.
Well, this is a guy who never showed damage at all
Yeah.
throughout his entire
But-
UFC career, except for his last fight.
But now he's in Albuquerque. He's with Winklejohn.
Better camp.
Better camp, so.
He doesn't get to kick back in Hawaii, and he can't hang with his girlfriend anymore.
his training doesn't include surfing, you mean?
No surfing and no smoking that Pakalolo.
Also confirmed this week, Jones versus Cormier targeted for April. This fight is going to happen.
It's confirmed that it's targeted.
It's confirmed that it's targeted and possibly going to be a main event at an event in the near future. Long-awaited rematch between Daniel Cormier and John Jones is officially set for April, although the date and location for the fights are still to be determined. It's going to be Madison Square Garden.
So we're announcing we're announcing an announcement.
Yes, we're announcing an announcement. It's going to happen in April, said White. I don't have the date of the venue, but April is looking like the month. So we're 2 months, a month and a half away from it, but we got no idea.
Right.
No idea where it's going to be. When the UFC literally had their schedule, when we were over this, the press conference last year.
Yeah.
Had their schedule mapped out like a fucking X-Men franchise.
Right.
But now we don't know. Now we have no idea. But I guess with Jones coming back, but I don't know how I feel about Jones even coming back. I feel like he was just kind of slapped on the wrist and dust under the rug for a little bit, and then he comes back and gets his immediate title shot.
That's exactly what it is.
Hoping just wait long enough for everyone to forget and forgive. You think that's what it is?
Yeah. In society,
it's the UFC. Their motto is,
yeah.
we
Plus,
don't care.
there's a lot of people that are like, "What? You never hit a pregnant lady."
People just completely forget all about that.
I forgot.
That never
I
happened.
don't remember anything.
It's like most of the population here just gets distracted by something shiny.
What were you saying over there?
Huh?
What?
Remember, I was under the influence.
Did you see that glitter? What's going on?
Yeah.
So Jones is back, and also booked for UFC 199. We have your middleweight champion Luke Rockhold going up against Chris Weidman. Yeah. This is going to be a rematch for these guys.
I'd like to see Weidman be on and give him actually get a good fight.
I don't know, man. Rockhold, I've been a fan of Rockhold since I saw him in Strikeforce.
I like him. Got nothing wrong with him, but I'd like to see Weidman on.
I want to see.
He wasn't on his game this last fight.
No, and that's the whole thing, and he should have been.
Yeah, I think if Weidman's on, it's going to be a tremendous fight, but I still think Rockhold keeps the title. That guy, he's been a prospect for a long, long time. You know, he got that Strikeforce gold without almost any issue. Got the UFC gold the first time he was up for it. You know, I want to see him fight Jacare again, but Jacare's like 3 fights away from that now, but because of his loss. Unless that loss gets nullified because of the drug violation.
Anything is possible.
Yeah. Gene is just here to talk low today.
Very low. I was low last night.
Oh, man.
Low with the shit.
He was at the Snoop Dogg concert.
Oh, is there a lot of weed smoke in there? Because I saw Snoop smoking on stage.
Man, I don't remember. Yeah, man, I'll tell you, it was quite. I haven't slept since last night. Came home and it was like 4:30 in the morning. Ended up going to work. Listening to you on the way to work kept me awake. It was great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's had 2 hours sleep because he was at a concert. I've had 2 hours sleep because I have a 1-year-old.
I just
Lesser of the two
nap.
evils.
Asshole.
I just took a nap. I don't know.
That's horrible.
So we know Jake Shields after he left the UFC went over to World Series of Fighting, and he's supposed to fight over there on April 1st. He's supposed to be fighting for the belt actually with John Fitch.
Right.
Now it's not happening. Now it looks like João Zeffirino is going to be taking Shields' place. Shields very disappointed. He says, "I can't tell you how disappointed I am to have to tell the World Series of Fighting fans this fight will not happen when we had hoped. When I thought everyone was on board to make this fight happen, unfortunately, Jake Shields has informed us that he does not intend to honor the terms of his existing contract at this time and declined to sign a bout agreement to fight John Fitch. So we've had to go in a different direction. Fortunately, we found someone on our roster who is willing to step up and take this incredible opportunity, not only to potentially win a title, but to also face one of MMA's all-time greats, John Fitch." So I misread this earlier. I thought the World Series of Fighting was keeping him from fighting, but he actually is opting out of his fight.
Well, it depends who you talk to.
Depends
Did
on
he
what.
sign with them?
Yeah, he signed with them, and then he says that they're playing games, and then their side says that he's playing games. But this isn't the first time that Jake Shields had an issue with a contract with a company.
Was it with World Series of Fighting also, though, last time?
No, I think last time it was the UFC.
No.
Correct.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll see where Jake Shields ends up. I mean, the guy, he needs to get back in the cage soon.
Right.
Step up, Jake. Let's
major
go.
Step up and fight. Get it done.
Major contender, part of the honorary part of the 209 crew with
Yeah,
Gilbert
think
Melendez
if you win, you can ask for more money next time.
More money.
Exactly. So get in there, man. Get in there and mix it up. I'm sure
Come on, we're your buddies.
Nick,
Get
Nate
in there.
Diaz, Melendez, they're all telling you the same thing. Get in there and fight.
Right, and as long as you're in the top 3, World Series of Fighting, Bellator, or UFC, you always have somewhere else to fall, especially in California.
Right.
It's
And you also
back.
keep a little bit more relevancy as long as you're in the top
Right.
three.
Right.
True. Very true.
Well, we'll keep you posted on what's going on with that. We talked to you last week about Tarverdyn losing his cornerman license, right?
Right.
In California. He had his hearing scheduled.
Right.
And it looks like he says he will be back in his fighters' corners before long. The California State Athletic Commission suspended him for 3 months and fined him $5,000 for falsifying his application with regards to a past arrest at the hearing that he just had. He's also going to be on probation for 3 years. So that's what we were talking about last week. We could only give you the legal terms as to why he was being investigated or suspended, but now we know exactly why, for falsifying
documentation.
Falsifying government
was
documentation.
Arrested in 2010. Jesus. Was arrested in 2010 on 2 felony counts of identity theft and 1 count of resisting arrest. Of course,
Leave me alone.
so he can't have. They just said no. He said no on his application in April 2nd of 2015. So that's a big no-no. You ever lie on your applications, Gene?
Every chance I get. No, I refuse to answer that on the grounds I may incriminate myself.
I plead the 5th.
I'll drink a 5th.
I'll drink the 5th.
I did drink a 5th couple last night. Damn, Snoop, you did it.
What are we talking about again?
I forgot.
Alcohol,
Oh, yeah.
right?
The fine. Yeah.
The 209. That's what we do in the
209.
209.
That's it. That's how we do it.
This was actually really big news breaking out this
Yes.
week. Benson Henderson, of course, signed with Bellator. He left on a 2-fight winning streak out of the UFC and elected to go to Bellator. They've already announced his April title fight.
I'm curious how he bumped out of his UFC contract.
It was over.
It was done.
It was done.
Completely done.
Yeah, that was just the last fight on his contract. Went in for negotiation. Said, "No, I'm good." The UFC says that they offered him a deal that was more lucrative in the long run, but it was contingent on if he could get his title back.
Right.
It was a tiered payment scale, and if he got his title back, then he'd be making X amount of dollars. He chose to go with Bellator, who offered him more money up front.
Oh, right off the bat.
And
sure.
this is a good get for Bellator. I think this kind of shakes things up a little bit in a positive way.
And he's walking in there and he's getting the 170-pound championship fight right off the bat.
Right, immediately going to be fighting Andrei Koreshkov on April 22nd.
Another Russian.
So if we got Benson Henderson, who's a former UFC champ and is on a 2-fight winning streak on a positive note, walking into Bellator. We already had 3 fighters last week that we discussed that opted for Bellator over the UFC.
Right, and we didn't give their names though.
So now we're looking at something that could potentially.
And Coker said Henderson is tip of the iceberg.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Okay.
That's exactly what I'm thinking, that these fighters are now going to see somebody positive like Henderson go over there, get a positive deal, and you're going to see a lot more guys coming to the end of the term.
Well,
for the
that's
UFC
what we were
contract.
discussing in the beginning. They were thinking it was like, in the beginning, everybody was saying, oh, Bellator, that's the dumping ground for the UFC. That's where all the fall-offs will go.
Well, that's why
And now it's changing.
Well, that's what I think Bellator for the longest time, and we made a lot of jokes about it on the show because that's what we do, was literally keeping its head above water with these crazy-ass super fights that people were watching. Like they had their
And they still have one coming.
Yeah.
I hear more people talking about this Dad F5000
Right.
Kimbo Slice fight than about the McGregor Aldo rematch about McGregor Dos Anjos or anything else.
We also have the Gracie versus Shamrock one coming up. Right?
I laugh,
that
but
was
I'm
not
gonna
so
watch.
much. That one's not so much talked about.
But what I'm saying is they're putting out these crazy ass fights to keep treading, keep treading,
And people are
keep
loving
treading.
it.
And then boom, they get Benson Henderson, and all of a sudden that just opens a gate,
Definitely.
a big gate for a lot of fighters who are coming to the end of the terms on their contract to be like, well, I mean.
And they're still
Benson
doing the
went
mix it up thing with K1, right? They said they're going to do 2 or 3 more of those this year.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they'll do that many this year, but they have them planned.
Right.
And that's people are just thriving on that.
Well, I'm not saying that I want Bellator to win. I'm not saying that I want Bellator to be the top place. I've liked the UFC since the UFC came around, and I would like for this to at least prompt some changes with the UFC to where they can get back to what the fans and fighters liked. If not, then screw them. Go to Bellator. But what I'm hoping this does is what is it? Conflict breeds creativity. I think that this is going to be one of those things where it's like, okay, we got serious competition now. We need to make some changes, and then we're going to have some positive changes in both directions for Bellator and the UFC.
But that's where that mentality on UFC, not to really knock it because they've got the money and being number one, but they're like, hey, we don't care. We don't have to do that because we are number one.
But that's only for so long. If more fighters like Benson Henderson,
I agree with you 100%.
If they keep doing that, then the UFC is going to have to take notice.
Well, but you say money, but just to give you a small perspective, okay, Zuffa altogether, the whole entitlement, everything, tops $4.3 billion. Okay, Viacom, one family. And there's multiple families invested in Viacom. One family in Viacom is worth $7.9 billion by themselves.
Yeah, but are they focusing that on the?
But I'm just saying, in possible money that can, and they already have their own networks, as to where even when Zuffa gets into a network, they've got to deal with the network. As to where Viacom already has their network.
They are the network,
right?
And that could really change things up if the person at Viacom that has $7 billion decides, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take my chunk and I'm going to really focus it towards Bellator.
Right.
And that's going to be a game changer.
Right, because it won't have to be pay-per-view.
That's very true.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be pay-per-view because they already know the market and they know how to sell advertising around the fights.
There you go, and that's where that marketing, that advertising.
Yeah, because like I've been saying forever, football is not a pay-per-view sport, and look how much money it makes on.
Oh my God.
Watching it. Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, you can't comparing football to MMA is impossible.
No, I know.
But there's a way to do it. There's a way where we can have a top mixed martial arts league where the fighters are happy and the fans are happy. And
I'm all for throwing Dana out and putting you right in there.
I'm game.
I mean, let's go.
I'm game. Let's
Dana's
go.
house, we'll jump through those Ferraris.
No, that's it. I just think that we need
you're right.
where the fans are happy, the fighters are happy, and of course the bosses are happy.
I agree.
And then everybody's happy. It's possible.
Yeah.
So we'll see Benson fight on April 22nd. Then we go to what happened last week, which was the UFC on Fox, Johnson versus Bader, which was supposed to be. Was this supposed to be UFC? No, one tomorrow was supposed to be UFC 196, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So go through this fight card real quick. I watched most of it on GIFs because for some reason it didn't show up on my TV.
No, because you were going to go watch it at 7 like usual, and it started at 5.
And I went back in my guide to 5 o'clock and it wasn't there. It was not there, dude. I swear.
Because that's how, if I hadn't already had it to record the series, I too would have missed it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wasn't drinking all day.
Not saying that at all.
That's what happens.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I didn't, started off with an Irish coffee and then a couple tall cans at the driving range and then whiskey and Coke after I got home. And
your swing was, you got a good swing. Aaron is going to hurt somebody.
He'll hurt himself first, man.
Yeah.
He'll hurt himself first. All right, so on your preliminary fight pass, you had Tony Martin defeating Felipe Oliveri with the rear naked choke. Also, Damon Jackson gets a majority draw over Levon Makshvili. And then Randy Brown with a unanimous decision over Matt Dwyer. That's all on Fight Pass. If you don't have Fight Pass, you didn't see it unless you caught one of them in a GIF. So kicking off the beginning of the night, Bruce Leroy will not go away, man.
He won't.
Bruce.
Alex Caceres gets a win over Masayo Fulham with a unanimous decision. Then Alexander Yokolev up against George Sullivan. This was a first-round KO at
Out
3:59.
to lunch. He punched his time card. He was out.
Send him home.
Definite memes. He didn't know where he was when he woke up. Wilson Reese went up against Dustin Ortiz with a unanimous decision.
Someone should have threw a towel in.
And in favor of Wilson. That bad?
No, it was. I felt so bad for Dustin.
That was.
It was bad.
Rafael Natal gets a TKO in the third round over Kevin Casey. Thank God. Did he give him another black belt? After the ref stopped the fight, did he walk over and go, oh, here you go. You can have another one.
There was a point in the second I thought they could have called it. I thought it was going to go bad too, but he made it to the third.
And then Carlos Diego Ferreira went up against Oliver Auberin Mercer, the battle of the snipers. Went to decision in favor of Carlos. And Tariq Safadine gets a win over Jake Ellenberger with a decision as well.
Poor Jake.
What did you think of that fight?
Should have stayed home.
Should have stayed home.
Jake should have claimed he had a strep throat.
I'm hurting.
Speaking of
can't
strep throat,
come out there.
I can't go out.
Sage Northcutt gets submitted by Brian Barberina via virus. Jimmy Rivera defeats Yuri Alcantara with a unanimous decision, and then we got a submission guillotine choke in favor of Big Ben Rothwell, over Josh Barnett in the second round.
Go neck choke, bro.
Go neck choke.
And Ben was on top of the world. He's like, I can win so many other fights. He goes, but this is the one that's going to stand out because nobody submitted Barnett.
Because beating Josh Barnett's a big deal.
Yeah.
He's old.
How's Josh? What, 52?
I don't think he's that old.
71.
Hey, come on.
How deep is his voice?
He's about like this.
Let's see. He's 38 years old.
38.
38.
He's older than that, isn't
He's
he?
a year older than me. I don't know. The internet doesn't lie, man.
Bonjour.
Oh, yeah. The internet doesn't lie. I'm 15.
And then your main event, Ryan Bader just got handled absolutely handled by Anthony Johnson.
I expected so much more out of him, really, in all the build-up.
That's actually his new nickname. Ryan, we expected so much more out of you, Bader. That's what it's going to be forever.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Ryan,
No, really, I had thought. And I love Anthony. I mean, it was.
No, big Anthony Johnson. Yeah. I said it last week, though. What does Bader have that Anthony Johnson can't counter? He's got that big right hand, and that's it.
That's about it. But hey, anybody can get caught by that. But he did not use any intelligence whatsoever on that fight.
We only had a minute 25 or minute 26 to put that game plan together.
Not really, but I mean, the plan was over 27 seconds into it when he shot, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
He went to shoot in, and then it was over.
No. Game over.
Yeah, Rumble's all, hey, let me show you what the pit bull does at the yard. Right. I'm gonna hump you, punch you. It's over.
Good night.
We found out who's wrestling was superior.
And that's the other thing is all week he was talking about. Well, I really don't think his. How do you not think his wrestling's that good?
Maybe they hired a wrestler.
Because I think because Bader has higher wrestling credentials, but Johnson's obviously got better MMA wrestling.
Oh, yeah, by far.
Everything changes when you get in the cage. Like you can have better wrestling credentials on paper from a university or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Well, true, but also training standards, right?
Yeah.
One guy's obviously up on it.
Yeah, and this definitely has the Mike Tyson thing where everybody has a game plan until they get punched in the face.
Right.
100%.
So true.
And then coming up this weekend, tomorrow night, which was supposed to be UFC 196.
This is the pay-per-view that wasn't.
It's no longer a pay-per-view.
Yay!
Second one within a year that this has happened. At least this one wasn't scrapped.
I'm going to use that money to buy alcohol.
$55 bottle of something.
No, I'm just going to buy 55 40s of Country Club.
That'd be the worst investment of $55 ever.
And drink them with straws.
55
Grape
Old
drink.
E's. Love the Old E.
Oh, Old E with some Kool-Aid packet.
Oh, shit.
Make some homemade MD 2020.
That's when I started drinking. Tapping shoulders down at the local liquor store. Find some homeless guy. Here's $5. Go give me 2 oldies and keep the change.
Remember when you could get change for 2 40s of Old E?
I haven't bought 2 40s of Old E.
Oh, you haven't?
So I don't know how much they cost now. What are they, $3.50 a piece?
Yeah, they're almost $4, I think.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Damn. So we have your preliminary card on Fight Pass, which is Artem Lubov going up against Alex White. And the fight that has serious ramifications, Mickey Gall going up against Michael Jackson, or Mike Jackson now. This is the fight where if Mickey Gall wins, then he will be CM Punk's first opponent in the UFC. If Michael Jackson wins, he will not face CM Punk.
He will stun the world because we thought he was dead.
Isn't that some shit? Isn't that some shit? I mean,
it makes perfect sense.
CM Punk doesn't have to fight anybody to make it into the UFC. Mickey Gall has to win to get a fight against him in the UFC. If the other guy wins, he don't get to fight CM. What?
He just gets another fight.
So who does CM Punk fight if he don't win?
CM Punk's never gonna fight.
You like Mike Tyson fighting in the UFC. Right?
The only time he's gonna step in the cage is to announce his retirement from the UFC.
It was a great life. Thank you for nothing.
The problem here is that Mickey Gall is a ground fighter. He's got some mixed martial arts experience. He's a submission fighter, whereas Michael Jackson hasn't had a professional mixed martial art fight yet. Mickey Gall's had one, but he's had some amateur ones. Michael Jackson is a kickboxer with knockout power,
right.
So they don't want their poster boy to get KTFO'd.
Right.
I think we've said it on the show before. Getting submitted or going to a decision with a ground fighter. You can recover some face from that. If you make your debut, you're CM Punk, and someone knocks you the fuck out, like that, you would literally see dollar signs flying out of his face. Done.
Bye.
We'll find out about that tomorrow night, and then Node Lahat. That's a fucking name right there.
Better fight good with
Node Lahat.
So you know he fights good.
Yeah, he's got the name of like a fucking testicle disease. Up against.
How do you go to the DMV with that name? Right? What's your name? Node
Lahat.
Node
Hey, go to the
Lahat.
back of the line.
I had one of those in the back of my taint once.
So in class on the roster, he's Hat Lanode.
No, Lahat Node. Now that sounds like something on your ball sack. I got a Lahat Node on the bottom side of my helmet.
Yeah.
Diego Rivas is his opponent. Also, Ray Borg is going up against Justin Scoggins. You must join the Borg.
We're taking the Borg.
Yeah, join the Borg.
You got to assimilate.
Must assimilate. Derek Lewis up against Damian Grabowski.
I'm taking Owski.
Right? You can take Grabowski?
Grabowski.
Wazowski.
The big Grabowski.
Grabowski. Always watching. Josh Berkman is coming back to fight KJ Noons. The blast from the past here.
I'm taking Noons just for Brandon.
Just for Brandon taking KJ Noons?
Yeah.
I don't know who to take here. I don't really like KJ Noons. So I'm going to take Berkman.
I'm going to the bathroom during that fight.
This is seriously a fight that should have happened 10 years ago.
At least.
Then we got Mike Pyle kicks off your main event here with Sean Spencer. Again, this is on Fox Sports 1. Keep that in mind.
Just came back from a boxing win.
This went from a pay-per-view to Baby Fox.
Oh.
Not into Big Fox.
Well, there's no way Big Fox was rearranging their schedule.
That's true. Who just came off a boxing win?
Mike Pyle.
Mike Pyle.
Was,
really?
At a boxing event, yeah. He fought in, and he fought Derek Williams out there.
How'd that end?
28 seconds.
Mike Pyle got a knockout in 28 seconds?
Yeah, it was quick.
Wow, cool. So we'll see how he does in the cage this weekend. And then Misha Kirkunov is going up against Alex Johnson. All right. Joseph Benavidez is taking on Zach Murkowski. Benavidez, Team Alpha Male, always puts on one hell of a show in the cage.
Joe.
Definitely.
It's like that kid, known him for a long time.
Either way it goes, you know that you're in for an exciting, tenacious
Definitely.
match.
I'm actually looking forward to this next fight. The next fight,
OSP,
oh yes.
Ovis St. Preux is going up against Rafael Cavalcante. This is going to be a good fight.
Yeah.
Who do you got in this one?
I'm going to take Cavalcante, even though OSP's on a streak, right?
Didn't he lose his last one, though?
No, I think he just killed somebody.
Oh, he was?
I thought he killed somebody pretty quickly.
I thought he killed somebody. His opponent's dead, man.
That's how you win, really. MMA.
No, he did lose.
That's what I thought. He got a rear naked choke by Glover Teixeira.
Teixeira.
He was doing really well before that.
Okay, I was thinking
of
I was thinking of the one before.
Okay.
6 seconds in, he won, right? The last
Something
one?
like that. Yeah, no, he was looking like he was going to be the next contender.
Yeah, see, first round, 454, yeah.
Yeah, but then
He even beat Bader.
but then Glover Teixeira happened.
Right.
And then after that, we have Roy Nelson taking on Joshua Schultz. I want to see Roy Nelson fight Big Ben again.
Yeah.
If Roy Nelson wins, I want to see him go up against Big Ben again.
I lay on you.
Good times
you
there.
lay on you.
Just a battle of the bellies. Battle of the bulge.
Stop. I'll tap.
In order for them to punch each other in the face, their bellies would have to be touching.
And then actually, I'm going to get up and leave after the Nelson fight. I'm not even interested in the last one because he's a whiner. He's become the biggest UFC whiner.
Johnny?
Yeah, Johnny.
Oh, well, Stevie, you'll shut him up.
Well, we'll see how he does tomorrow night. He's going up against Stephen Thompson, who's making a name for himself in the UFC. He's 10-1, I believe.
Known that kid, literally know his father, Ray.
Thompson?
Yeah, very well. Known them since the IKF days. We were together in Florida for the championships every year since the beginning, and watched Steven grow. And I'll tell you, the kid is extremely credible. Humble, nicest person you'd ever want to meet. Will go out of his way to do anything for you, and not afraid to be himself, as opposed to, with.
But do you think his nice personality has a chance against Johnny Hendricks?
He's got.
Is he going to fucking nice him into submission?
Well, what they do in the back before the fight is not my business. No, with his skills, he can catch anybody.
We're looking at a guy here who he's been in the UFC for a bit now. Came from Fight Party. Since he's been in the UFC, he's had 3 decisions and 4 knockouts. He's about 50-50. Well, he's got more knockouts than he does anything else. And he's 11-1 coming into this. Only 1 loss to the immortal Matt Brown.
Right.
In his second UFC fight. And that was a decision loss. Matt Brown didn't even knock him out.
Okay, so knowing what you know about Thompson, what's he going to do to counter Hendricks' point game? Because that's what Hendricks been playing a lot, is the point game. Mm-hmm. Well, I did just enough to get this, and
what he'll do is he'll move enough because he can play the point game himself.
Really?
But I believe his combinations where he can build up more points. But if he comes in and he goes to take him out and he catches him with that spinning kick, he'll put him to sleep.
Oh.
So obviously his game is standing up more so than anything else.
Yes.
So we're looking at possibly Hendricks trying to wrestle fuck him to death.
Push him up against the cage.
Yeah. So how is his sprawl and brawl?
Ground wise?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
You have no idea?
I honestly don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we will. And that's a curiosity I got too that I was just discussing the other day. And I was saying, man, it's because it's been so long and I don't know what he's been doing. But because his dad is worked with him ever since the beginning, and he's groomed Steven for this position. I would really not be surprised if he had somebody or some group who was very influential with groundwork working with Steven to keep him with this, because he never did not cover an area for that kid.
Well, of course, I'm sure he's got a ground coach, but I'm just wondering with Johnny Hendricks' wrestling, what he's going to be able to do to counter that, because he obviously is going to want to keep this fight standing.
Not go down. Oh, yeah. The way he moves and the way he angulates and stuff, he's very fast on the changeover. His switch-ups are real good. His angulation is nice. He's got great cardio. So he can go. He can really go, So.
Well, there's a positive, because the last 2 fights, Hendricks has no cardio. and again, but Hendricks also is coming off like probably one of the best weight camps he's had in a while. They got him down.
Like you said, if he goes to that point thing and they get into the deep water, he can draw him in depending 3 to 5. It's just a 3-5 rounder.
If it's going to be a 5-rounder because it's the main card.
He'll draw him into the deep water after the third, and then start going powering on him. I would see him starting to power on him, then go into the.
Just a little side note here. Johnny Hendricks' last win is over Thompson's only loss. There's no MMA math there, but still, just an interesting little tidbit in case you're curious about it. So we'll see if Thompson actually has what it takes to.
So you're not going to watch that fight?
I'll watch it.
I'll come. I'll sit right next to you. Right there. And I'll say, hey, it's time.
I feel like if you said that in my ear, it would vibrate my ear hairs to like an uncomfortable point.
And he's got a lot of ear hair, bro.
Yeah, no, let's not even try that. Anyway, that's tomorrow night. Make sure you check it out on Fox Sports 1, Baby Fox. And thanks for listening. Tell your friends. This is Split Decision MMA Podcast. You can find us anywhere podcasts, MMA podcasts are broadcast. I rhymed it again.
He did. Thanks for coming in, Gene Fields, Team
Anytime.
VooDoo.
Thank
Team
you for
VooDoo,
having
Gene Fields
me.
in the
Best
house.
of the best
Bad to
here.
the Bones, Jim.
Love it.
Always representing in the 209.
We're out there.
Motown.
We're out there. Come down, do some kickboxing, folks. 7th and M, Modesto.
And, of course, you can find us online at SplitDecisionMMA.com and on Twitter and Instagram at SD_MMA and Facebook. It is Split Decision MMA Podcast, I think. And then throw that a like. I had a total brain fart. Throw that a like over there. Tell your friends. Yeah, that's it. Right?
StrongboardBalance.com.
Do we do that at the end, too?
Yeah.
No, we only did it at the beginning.
MMA News.com.
StrongboardBalance.com and MyMMAnews.com and Real One Flight 420.
I think he got really turned on by your deep voice, and you just lost him
No,
there.
man. It's not it. I literally just woke up from a nap before I came over here. I woke up and was like, oh, shit. I got to go. I woke up to the sound of my daughter's bus dropping her off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So thanks.
Driver, get the hell out of the way, kid.
Until next time from the Ruloff Family Inc. Studios, it's really great. Have a good night.